Nothing touched the old pumpkin balls. I don't know, you probably remember the old pumpkin balls. Then I bought the Weaver made, you knocked out the receiver pins and you had a mount for a scope. So I put that on. Then I bought a smoothbore barrel with sights on it, made for shooting slugs. Well, then I graduated to, quite a few years ago, I bought a cantilevered barrel, it's called. It's rifled, so it spins the slug when it comes out. And there's a little bracket on the top where you mount your scope, and that's what I've been using for the last umpteen years. And like I said, you kind of, being old and stubborn, you know, I'm going to stick with that. I mean,
it works for you. It works for you, yeah.
So that's me. But back to, see, we're getting ahead again. So you've got to get a good gun, get used to shooting the gun, know where the gun shoots. That's your first step. Then you better make friends with a landowner if you don't have land. Now, I've hunted where I've hunted since I got out of the farm for the last 16 years, and I had a good rapport with landowners. He sold part of it where I usually hunted, and I knew the people who hunted it, and I take them fish, you know, and I ask them every year, which they always say you don't have to ask, but you have to have a good rapport with that landowner because you need someplace to hunt. I mean, the state lands are great, but there's a lot of pressure on the state lands. So if you can get an individual to let you go on their property and hunt and treat them and the property with respect, there's a big step in the right direction to getting a deer.
Well, more and more land, when I was a kid you could go hunting anywhere, more and more land around here is posted. No, you're not allowed on that land.
Yeah, but a lot of that too is, like when we had the farm, the first year we had it, we didn't post it. And because I just thought, you know, I don't care. If somebody wants to hunt, fine. I was sitting in the woods one morning, and a group of guys came through. They fired more shots in probably 1 hour than I fired in 20 years.
Just having fun.
And I left my own woods because these guys scared me. So after that, I figured, you know, I better post this. If I want to be able to enjoy my property, you almost have to do that. And it's kind of a sad state of affairs, but there are people who think they buy that license, that gives them the right to be on any property. It's not a permission slip.
We have another problem, and that is the litigious society here. If somebody hurts themselves on your property, they get a lawyer and they sue you, even though it's you nothing to do with it. They go up a stand that somebody built that you didn't build there. They fall down, they shoot themselves in the leg because they didn't have their gun on safety. It's your fault, and they sue the hell out of you and take your land. We got a couple of calls. What do you want to do?
Well, guess we could take the calls.
Okay, so post your land. Stop the suits. Hello, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Hello. First off, I want to say that I had the privilege of being invited to a birthday celebration at your son's house.
Oh, really?
This past week or so. And I don't know if your audience is aware, but your son is quite a chef. In fact, during the season in Chautauqua, he's a private chef for one of the Chautauqua residents.
He certainly is.
And in addition to his entrepreneur job.
I'm aware of that.
Well, I know you.
I guess who taught him?
Well, I don't know.
Yours truly. I'm a great chef too. May I say so? Okay, you're on. I'm only kidding, but I did teach him a lot about cooking.
I'm sure he got a lot.
He's gone far beyond me. He's a great chef.
I'm sure he got a lot from both his parents.
James Powers is his name.
Yes.
We call him Jim.
Yes. Okay, and I do have a question for your guest.
Yes.
Well, it's kind of almost not even a question. It's.
No, you want to make a comment? Make it short then.
No, stop that. When during hunting season, I've often heard of accidents where people, you know, come out of their house and maybe they have a brown fur coat on or something and they're dead meat. And a suggestion might be, if you live in an area where a lot of hunting goes on, that if you're coming out of your house, you might want to have a nice bright orange house or hat or something on so that you won't be mistaken for something you're not.
What do you think of that?
You know, I wear orange in the woods. And I think with the price of the licenses and taking care of the deer and everything else, a lot of that stuff has kind of slid down the roadside. You think back like, 30, 40 years ago, the motels around here were filled with guys from Ohio and Buffalo to go deer hunting.
And Canada even would come in.
Yeah,
no, I guess
where now, even just in the last 15, 20 years, the number of deer hunters has dropped dramatically. And generally, the guys that are hunting now are more of a
high caliber.
High caliber, like a good way to put it. High caliber hunters where they actually spend time in the woods scouting like you should. They actually, talk with the landowners. There's this number of slob hunters to me is kind of diminished.
Well,
You will get little pockets where,
the fact is, I have friends, I lived in Pennsylvania for some time, and I have friends whose husbands hunt and so forth, and the price has just gotten so high to be an out-of-state hunter that they no longer come to New York State, which is losing us a lot of tax.
well, that's why Chautauqua County went to the rifle season. Part of the reason is they're trying to attract more out-of-state hunters. But,
right, because, they come in and they spend money here.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of a two-sided sword with the deer herd. One, the state gets money from the licenses, the local businesses get money from people coming in, buying
Right.
meals and everything else. But the other side of the coin is the insurance industry. When you look how many deer accidents there are, they want that cut back. That costs you, me, everybody that has a vehicle.
Absolutely.
Money
and
under
who doesn't know
insurance.
somebody that has
So
not been
it's
hit
a
with a deer?
two-sided sword on that. But I think another part of it is people, well,
Doesn't it help to have the hunters come in and call the herd?
yeah, but I think for a while there, like I think it was probably around 20 years ago when New York State had the big go in February when you had the big herds of deer down on 5 and 20 and just had that hunt, go in, shoot. I mean, I went on some property with my neighbor and because he has a farm, and after that hunt there was blood everywhere. We found dead deer. It was basically the state opening it up for slob hunters.
Right.
Guys would shoot, and because
they're
there's
not
so many deer, if
interested
it didn't drop, well, I'll shoot the next one.
Yeah, they're not interested in the
So
sport.
I think most of the guys going out now are more conservation oriented, where they don't, like, I won't shoot a spike. Now last year I did. I will take that back. But the spike I shot had
Well, tell me what a
spikes that were
spike
probably
is.
like 8 inches long.
That's just a little tiny
Yeah,
line
that
is a
just
spike.
has 2 points coming.
Right, right.
But I mean, part of that to me was genetically, because it was a big deer. It probably weighed 150 pounds.
Whoa,
It wasn't a
that is
yearling or
nice-
anything like that.
That's a nice sized deer. Yeah.
Genetically, just like anybody, any animal, us included, genetically, we can be defective. Animals can be defective. So, I don't know. Then another part of it that discourages the hunters is access. When you can't get on any place, and New York State doesn't have that many good game preserves for deer. So, it's kind of,
Are there any in
tough.
Chautauqua County?
You have some in Chautauqua County around Panama. There's one over by Ripley. that's-
Mayville?
In Mayville. There's
Oh, I didn't
state
realize
property.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you go online, you can find these different places. But the best thing to do is find a farmer or a landowner and
Make a friend.
make a friend. I mean,
Share your deer with them too.
now see, the people where I hunt, I give them perch.
Okay.
I'll go out and I'll give them perch.
What a deal. If I had land, you'd be hunting on my land.
And they're kind of happy because they have the farm and the deer actually do some damage. So, they're kind of happy I'm on there. But I mean, every year I go down, I'll take them some fish. Usually I take them a couple limits of perch, which this year wasn't so good because I had family issues going on. But and they're very appreciative. I mean, when I come in, they're like, you don't have to ask, but make sure you ask. Treat it like you'd want to be treated if you own the property.
Absolutely.
And if you go in and there's junk laying around, bring it out. Just like I
don't throw
said
anything
before
away.
about
Make
the
it clean.
streams.
Make it cleaner.
If you
One
go
of
out
the-
there, pick up more than what you take in.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for the call. I'll give you $5 off at the gorgeous little
right.
restaurant down at the foot of the hill here in Mayville called the Lakeview.
Delicious.
Yeah,
Thank you.
wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Another thing, New York State is kind of dumb about the way they deal with this. They didn't even allow rifles up until, in Chautauqua anyway, up until this year. Many states permit kids to be broken in before they're totally sewn into computers and televisions.
And girls.
And girls. So that
boys.
you can take your kid out with you when your kid's 12 years old and say, here's deer hunting, let's go. He's got to take a full training course first.
Right.
He's got to be accompanied by you. He can't
That's
just
right.
go off on his own. New York State won't permit that.
Part of that's because of the way our legislators set up. they live in New York City, and they don't feel a 12-year-old can be a responsible gun owner.
They have no idea. The downstaters run our New York State legislature. The governor, most of the powerful legislators and all the legislators, they're everybody, the attorney general, they're all downstaters. They haven't a clue. Many of them never even been up here.
No, and
they have no idea.
Many of them don't know that a lot of these kids have been handling guns and going out in the woods since they were with dad, and so a lot of times even mom, for years. Not only just hunting, but berry picking and all this stuff. I mean, you're just taking walks, and they don't understand that these kids are brought up different than the kid in the city. They may not be able to slam dunk a basketball at 12 years old, but they can probably tell you what that animal is, what that flower is.
And they can shoot the eye out of a fly at 100 yards,
right,
too, with a scope.
So, like I said, that's a lot of it. And it's, like I said, when my grandson was like 10 and 11 and 12, man, he was just chomping at the bit to go hunting. And by the time he turned 16, he wants to get a truck, he wants to get his driver's license, he's got friends, he's got the computer.
Girlfriend.
So, I mean, he'll still, like last Christmas, I was showing him my muzzleloader I bought. He still likes looking at that stuff, but he's got other interests right now. And it's not instilled to him to say, okay, I've been hunting now for 4 years. Guess what? This will wait for a day or two. I'm going hunting the first day.
Sure. Well, if you break them in when they're young, they will hunt.
It's like anything else with a kid. You break them in when they're young,
New York State won't permit that.
Oh, no, you can't have that.
Yeah, too dangerous. We got a couple of phone calls.
Okay.
Here we are rapping about kids and
Yeah,
who should be allowed to hunt. Good morning.
I agree.
Morning, caller.
Good morning. You've been talking about whitetail deer, but some of us, while we're watching, we're wondering what your thoughts are on black bear. Is that something that's good to eat?
It's a new thing up here. We're getting a lot of black bears now, aren't we?
Yeah, actually, last year when I was deer hunting, I saw bear tracks. A couple weeks ago, I was up in the woods. I go squirrel hunting and deer scouting up where I deer hunt, and I saw a bear track down in the mud by the creek. So they're pretty much everywhere. Myself personally, I've had bear meat twice, and I didn't care for the taste. And to harvest an animal just for the sake of saying I got a bear, I wouldn't do. But I know other guys that actually like the meat. And hey, you know what? It's a matter of taste. I know guys that won't shoot a doe. I know guys that, like me, I won't use a rifle. I've put too much time in my shotgun, so I'll just keep using my shotgun. But it's all a matter of taste. And I think there's enough bear in the population right now where harvesting some bear isn't going to hurt a thing.
And then that makes a nice rug. A lot of people, almost everybody gets a bear, has a rug tan.
Well, yeah. I mean,
skin tan for a rug.
But I mean, just to shoot an animal for a trophy, I'm not a big believer in that. There's some guys, like, they won't shoot, if they shoot a buck like the one I have, they're happy, but for a smaller buck, they want no part of it. I like the meat. I know other people like the meat, but I know people that don't like the meat, their wife doesn't like the meat, their kids don't like the meat. So, they're going out for the big buck, which, okay, as long as you've got some place like the donation place to take that deer, or a friend that wants deer meat,
some people
as long as it's used. But there's so many deer that end up, and fish and other animals, end up in a dump because people just want to get the big buck or get the bear or get the fish. It's sad.
The doe, they control the deer population by the issuance of management or doe licenses.
Yeah.
And that means you can stop a lot of birth of deer if you get doe. Usually it's just bucks, but I've noticed now they've extended the doe seasons and they extended the licenses. A lot more people get a license, and so they are trying to cut back. And incidentally, who's behind that? The insurance industry.
Yeah.
People have to fix your car when the doe hits it.
You think about it, as far as the gun season, next Saturday, we start our gun season. And if you buy a muzzleloader and a muzzleloader stamp, you'll be hunting almost just before Christmas. You think about it, that's a long season. Now, granted, and I could think of right offhand a lot of guys that go out the first, second day, then maybe you'll go out Thanksgiving Day, which back when I was young, Thanksgiving Day was the day if you had a doe permit, that's when you filled it. But I mean, so there's a lot of guys don't go out. Now me, because I'm well, you might as well say retired. I go out every chance I get. When I'm feeling up to it, I'll go out deer hunting. You know, a lot of people don't have